Welcome to the residence of the European Union in Fiji. We're gathered today for the signing ceremony of three projects, one for Kiribati, one for FSM, and one for the region. I have with me today the Deputy Director General of SPC, and I'm going to sign with Audrey. To her left, I have the Deputy of the French Embassy. David, my good friend, the High Commissioner of Kiribati, is to my right, and Wilson is also joining us for that. There are really 5 points that I would like to insist on today with respect to the different projects we're going to sign. The first one is to underline that the European Union is present in the whole Pacific. We are in the north. FSM is from the North Pacific. We're in the south. There is no country represented to this table, but we have programs in the south. We have programs in all the sub-regions of the Pacific, from Micronesia to Melanesia to Polynesia. And this presence is not only bilateral, where we sign with countries, it's also through the crop agencies, through the regional organizations of the Pacific. The second point I want to insist on is the comprehensive approach we have chosen for our response to COVID-19, because the three projects we are signing today as part of Team Europe response to COVID-19. Of course, we address the health impact of COVID-19, and that's what we do in Christmas Island, for example, where we focus on water, sanitation, and hygiene, which is a key sector to fight COVID-19. But we also address the socio-economic impact of the crisis, and that's what we're going to do, for example, through this regional program on the integration of food and nutrition security for the region that will help people put food on the table. The third point I would like to mention is for donors, like the European Union, development partners, the focus might have changed because of COVID-19, and we might have lost sight of our overarching priority. But as I hear very often, it's not because we have COVID-19 now in the Pacific that climate change is gone. So I'm happy to report that our leaders within the European Union have agreed that we will continue on the European Green Deal as the top priority for the European Union for the years to come. So we will stay at the front line of the fight against climate change to promote a circular economy, to increase biodiversity, to go for smart food systems or renewable energy. And that's what we do in FSM, where we do renewable energy and energy efficiency. The next point I want to insist on is whatever we do in this region, we do it in a spirit of partnership. In a spirit of partnership in terms of alignment on the priorities of the countries. The program we focus on in Kiribati is Christmas Island, and we do Christmas Island because it's the priority of Kiribati. We also work in partnership with the regional organizations. I mentioned that already, and you might have followed for some of the projects we launch. We also partner with civil society and non-governmental organizations. The last thing, and I will finish here, and that's my fifth and last point, we are a long-term partner of the Pacific. The European Union has been around for a long time. We are here today in these challenging circumstances. We will still be here in the years to come. The best sign of that is the duration of the projects and the contracts we sign today. With SPC, it's a one-year contract, so it's not as if we're just dropping some masks or some equipment on the tarmac. We're going to implement a long-term project which will structure the policy in this region. For Kiribati, it's the same. It's a 4-year project. So we will take the time to really make a difference. In FSM, the project we sign is 5 years. And of course, it will be remiss of me not to mention the amounts because you want to hear figures. So you know that with SPC, that's 1.5 million euros. I let you do the conversion in Fijian dollars or whichever currency you want, but that's a very significant amount. In Kiribati, that's the second part of the project. This one is 6.2 million euros. But you might remember for Kiribati, we signed a contract here with UNICEF not long ago, which was 6.25. So the total amount is 12.5 million euros. And in the case of FSM, we're at 11.6 million euros. So now I think I spoke too much. we're going to sign, and we're going to sign first Kiribati. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Je signe où? Je signe celui-là.
Oui.
À droite.
Ouais.
Tiens. So we show that? For the picture?
Hold on. Thank you.
Good. David, do you want to share with us what your sentiment is?
Thank you, Excellency. Excellency, Deputy Ambassador, DDG, colleague,
Oh, that's
ladies
bad.
and gentlemen, friends, Melody, and good afternoon. Just a few brief remarks. Acknowledgement. I would like to acknowledge with sincere thanks the EU for the prize program that has been shared with the figure of 6-point-something million euros. I also would like to thank SPC for the PRISCO 19 program. That's the implementation of their part. The key results of the PRISCO 19 are well noted. We acknowledge the importance of improving water quality and food security in the context of COVID-19, and this cannot be more emphasized. Timing is also important. So while we are still COVID-free, implementation of the PRISCO 19 now contributes to building our preparedness and response to the COVID, should it ever reaches our shores, and likewise with the continuation of addressing our daily challenges in the wash sector. I'd really like to highlight and quote my president's sentiments during the delivery of the GOK Kiribati of Government's policy statement yesterday. The policy statement for the 4 years. The President mentioned that household water infrastructure is critical to alleviate preventable illnesses caused from poor water and sanitation. And a well-developed agricultural industry would contribute to food security and a source of income. Best wishes to SPC in the implementation of PRISCO. Thank you again, EU Ambassador, everybody, for all the support and organizing this occasion. Health, peace, and prosperity. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bravo. So we sign Micronesia? No, sorry. Yes, it's the same. No? Federated State of Micronesia. Thank you. Good. So we do the same. We show it to them. You can clap. We just signed 11.6 million euros. No?
I could do this for a living all day.
It's worth it.
I can do groceries with that. Wilson.
Thank you. I'm afraid I have a short script to read.
No problem.
The EU Ambassador for the Pacific, His Excellency Suchiro Sim, SPC Deputy Director, Dr. Audrey Zo, occupational colleague from Kiribati, His Excellency Jean-Louis Hutt, French PIF representative, Regional Authorizing Officer Ms. Rose Kitua, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. With great pleasure to present my home country, the various states of Micronesia, in partaking into this activity involving the Republic of Kiribati and the FSM surrounding the signing and launching of 3 separate agreements to support the Pacific region in COVID-19 response, namely the Republic of Kiribati in increasing access to water and sanitation in communities, and supporting the increased access to renewable and effective energy supply for the FSM. Now, in the case of FSM is highly dependent on imported petroleum fuels. FSM annually spends about USD 50 million on fuel imports, with most fuel used for electricity generation and transportation. Electricity in the four component states of Phonpei, Chuk, Yap, and Koshai are generated and distributed by four independent utilities. These utilities are public state enterprises owned by the state governments. There's little to no participation of the private sector in energy generation in the FSM, including through forms such as public-private partnership, due to the lack of necessary regulatory framework for the appropriate incentive. Access to electricity varies across the four states, at least in 2018, that's the most data I have, with Chuk at 30%, Koshai 98%, Phonpei 94%, and Yap 85%. 42% of FSM current emission come from the electricity sector, which roughly generate around 64,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent in the year 2000. Among others, this project aims to reduce the emission from the sector whilst boosting private investment through generating an enabling environment. The increased access to renewable energy out of this project will also be contributing to a reduction in the spending required for fuel import, and therefore allow money to be spent on other development action in the whole country. Having come this far, it is obviously clear that everything, if it's materialized as planned, the commitment being envisaged in the project to increase access to energy for our four component states, including boosting the private investment in the energy sector, is a significant step in the country. Furthermore, no doubt that the project will pose access to electricity and reduce the reliance we have on fossil fuels and generators for power supply. This will ultimately result in a significant and cost savings, economic benefit, and increase the opportunities for private businesses to see FSM as a viable investment environment. Because of all I've said, FSM government, her people, the communities, are most thankful to EU and the SPC for the work, assistance, and the support we are given. We will be forever cherish this assistance for many years to come. Thank you.
Good. We sign the last one?
Is it a signing? No signing.
There is a signing. It's there.
It's a handshake, is it? Because
It's like a handshake.
okay.
No, afterwards.
Okay.
Good. Can we bring all of them? You hold this one? You hold this one? I take another one. Okay. You take one?
Yep.
I take one? Okay, good. Okay, we have plenty. It's nice, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, social distance, but close.
I want the French.
Good.
Yes. Joe, keep the board up. Right. Kiribati, SPC, as one, and Deputy French, and then we need.
Well, good morning, Nimbulavingaka. excellencies on either side of me, and Sajiro, thank you very much for the very warm welcome this morning to all of us. And let me greet, of course, both our SPC staff and our European Union representatives that are here, and the media. I think you outnumber all the technical people in the room today, but it's great to see everybody here. Allow me just to say a few things, if I may, and I really, Sajiro, thank you for opening your remarks this morning on this idea of partnership. What sits behind the handshaking and the signing is actually years and months and weeks of discussions and consultations with my technical team, who are also present, and I recognise them, and of course with the European Union delegation. And you get to witness the conclusion of what I think has been a remarkable partnership and relationship by the European Union, and of course with SPC and other crop agencies, and I want to just recognise that and pay tribute to it. When we think about the work of the European Union in this region and the way they have accompanied many of the crop agencies and other partners in the region alongside our members, it's quite a significant relationship, and I always do take a moment whenever we're together to recognise not only the level of investment but the modality of accompaniment of the European Union and the delegation in ensuring that the investments often are going where they're most needed. And so I thank you for that. Today is a very important day, and one to reflect on this partnership. But these three projects really are about, in my mind, improving livelihoods, and therefore they have to be about improving the wellness of the people in this particular region. And the three very important projects, but three very different ones, as you've heard. So let me speak a little bit about each of them, if I may. You've heard that one covers off food security. One, of course, is about improving access to clean drinking water. And the other one, more importantly, is about renewable energy and clean energy and access to electricity. Prisco, I don't know where the name came from. We'll have to talk to Karen about that. But this is a project that is focused on food security and nutrition. And I think about this project as about putting food on people's plates. Quite frankly, it is as simple as that. And we have recognised over the past few months during COVID that food security has become a little bit of a challenge in our region. And I think about this project as being a direct contribution to supporting, of course, nearly 12 countries who will be the beneficiaries of this particular project. So when I talk about food security, I'm talking about improving livelihoods. I'm talking about food production, seedling systems, but I'm also talking about livestock contributions and how we will help the members who will be the benefits of this. The work in Kirisimasi, of course, is not an area, as you know, David, that's unfamiliar to SPC. Mm-hmm. We have been working on this atoll for over 5 years. And it is a project that is continuing to build on a project that we started 6 years ago, and that has really been about improving communities' access to clean and resilient drinking water. And this project, and I'd like to think about this project as being a phase 2, is really about expanding the current work of SPC into reaching a much wider population. The first phase of this project in Kirisimasi Island really saw significant health benefits. So access to clean water immediately had an impact on the wellness of people in these communities. And in particular, two communities were benefited from this. This project now will extend to a much wider population, and most importantly, will allow people to actually turn on a tap and access clean drinking water. And I remember when I was in Christmas Island, maybe 2 years ago now, and the Minister of the Line and Phoenix Islands at the time was so impressed at the work that had been carried out. and he could see immediately the flow of water coming out of the tanks and the water pumps. And I remember your team in particular, Sejiro, who spent months going in and out of Christmas Island. This is not an easy place to work, as you well know. Access to this atoll is incredibly challenging. So it was really delightful that your team and I could be there when the taps got turned on, so to speak. The Sustainable Energy and Accompanying Measures project, it's known as SEAM. This is the third project. This is a project that will boost, I think, the renewable energy across the 4 states of FSM, and ultimately, of course, provide more accessible, cleaner and cheaper energy to the population of FSM. Really, really critical. And I think one of the things that attracted me to this project is that one of its critical goals, of course, is to help reduce the country's greenhouse gas emissions by 21,000 tonnes per annum. And this is 65% of the sector's total emissions. So I recognise Aquila, who's here, who's our chief scientist in this area, our energy scientist, and this is a fantastic project that will really benefit the lives and the people of FSM. So accompanying us, of course, is not only our countries, but these 3 projects together will put food on people's plates. It will turn on electricity, and support aspirations around renewable energy, and of course it will enable access to clean drinking water for wider communities within Christmas Island. Of course, the economic flow on benefits of all of this work are now really important, and as you've heard, this is a $19 million euro investment into the region, benefiting these 3 countries and many, many more. And so we do look forward, Excellencies, to working alongside the governments of both Kiribati and FSM, and being accompanied, of course, by the European Union delegation in all aspects of the work that they support SPC. So it's a real pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be able to celebrate, of course, the formal signing of this work. You'll appreciate that much of the technical work has been underway for some time, the designing of this work with our scientists. But it's great to finally get here and to formally sign and recognise the mutual partnership of the European Union and SPC, and most importantly, the countries that we collectively are supporting on their journey for sustainable development. So, Vinaka Pakalelu, thank you for having us here today.
Thank you very much, Audrey. Bravo.